Let's do analytical meditation for compassion based on the teachings of the Dalai Lama. Start by closing our eyes and take a deep breath in through the nose to a count of 4. And pause for 4. Breathe out of the mouth for 4. Pause for 4. And repeat. Just observing the flow of the breath through the body. Let's remind ourselves of our intention. And so for the next 15 minutes or so, the only thing that we need do is breathe and meditate. For this short while, that is all that matters. Just continue to observe your breath for a few moments. Just enjoying the peacefulness of doing nothing but observing the breath. Now let's bring to mind the quality of compassion, and it's okay if it takes a minute or two for you to get there. Let's take our time and just recall what compassion feels like. If you struggle to recall compassion, recall closely related emotions such as love and kindness. Now bring to mind one time in your life when you felt very compassionate. Just recall that moment of compassion. Just noticing what compassion feels like in the mind and in the body. And once you have a good grasp on compassion, say to yourself, this is compassion. And now we're going to begin to investigate this feeling of compassion. And we shall do so by asking ourselves a few questions. Begin by asking, is there a texture to compassion? Is there a texture to compassion? And what about a temperature? Is there a temperature to compassion? Where exactly do you feel compassion in your body? And you can touch that place as well. Just noticing where you most feel compassion in your body. I feel it behind my breastbone. Is there a shape to this energy of compassion? Just continuing to observe compassion. And if you ever lose track with compassion, just remind yourself of your memory of that time when you were very compassionate, and that will bring the energy and the emotion back to you. Now let us ask, what is the value of compassion? And allow yourself to openly explore that question. What is the value of compassion? Just exploring the value of compassion. Let us also ask, is there a downside to compassion? And do not say no too quickly. Just observe the question and contemplate it. Is there a downside to compassion? And if so, what is that? The one downside to compassion that I can think of is only when we have too much compassion for others relative to ourselves. Sometimes, if you're like me, you'll be extremely compassionate to others, but you might sometimes lose that for yourself. So just exploring if there is a downside to compassion. What would it look like if you carried this compassion with you in each and every moment of your life? How would that feel? What would that look like? What would happen? What would it be like if you carried compassion with you each and every moment of your life? Remember, the Dalai Lama said, "My religion is simple. My religion is compassion." What if that were the case for us? Is there a better version of compassion? And do not rush to say no. Just contemplate, is there a better version of compassion, an alternative? And if so, what would that look like? To give you an example, I'm reflecting on what it would be like if I had the extremity of compassion that I have for others, for myself. Strange how it's a challenge to have that. Now, once again, let's go back to just what compassion is. Just observing compassion in the mind and in the body. And when you are ready, returning to the breath. And in your own time, opening your eyes. And so that was our analytical meditation for compassion based on the teachings of the Dalai Lama. And it's one of the techniques that I wrote about in my book, Your Best Meditation by Paul Harrison, me. It's very good to not to bang our elbow on the table, but it is good to analyze our emotions. It increases our emotional intelligence and just makes us more mindful of those emotional states. I hope that you have enjoyed this guided analytical meditation based on the teachings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And for more from me, simply search for The Daily Meditation on Google. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.